Hi there, welcome to Talkies. This is Talkies by Carmen Line Studios. We are three filmmakers talking about movies. My name is Dee.
And I am Kenny.
And I am Taylor.
And today we are talking about Memories of Murder. This was a movie that I suggested that all of us watch. We're doing that thing where one of us suggests, the other two watch. And ideally, the person who suggested it should have already watched the movie, but I had not, so it's just brand new for all of us.
Yee.
Cool.
This is our third time covering a Bong Joon-Ho movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He's a favorite here at the Talkies.
Yeah. Covered Okja and Parasite.
He's our most watched Talkies episode too, Parasite.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we're gonna blow up again.
We're gonna blow up.
Get ready, we're gonna blow up in Korea again.
Taylor, why don't you start?
Me? All right.
What was your hot take?
My hot take is that this movie is amazing. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh.
I thought it was probably one of the best Bong Joon-Ho movies I've seen, even top 3 or even top 2.
Top 3, definitely top 3.
You've seen more than 3 though.
I've seen all of his movies pretty much.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I've only seen 3.
Yeah, I've seen all but Mother now. I still haven't seen Mother.
Oh, shoot!
Yeah, that's the only one
I've seen like 5 at least. Anyway, Kenny, your turn.
Oh, everything Taylor said. It was so good. It was like, without being too personal, I was recovering from a small surgical procedure while I watched this movie, and
it comforted you.
It comforted me. It made me forget the discomfort I was in and sent me to cinematic nirvana. You know, it was so beautiful. You know, it was just a beautiful, beautiful movie. And when I see something like this, I'm like, why doesn't everyone know about this movie?
Yeah.
Like I almost hate that there's movies that good that exist that no one talks about or knows about.
Those were precisely my feelings when I watched the movie. I was like, why has no one told me about this movie before? I absolutely loved it. I can't say, I don't know, because I've seen a lot of Bong Joon-Ho's movies, I guess, because I keep forgetting the ones that are very popular that I've seen, like Snowpiercer and Okja.
Yeah.
But this one was really, really good. I still, I want to compare it to Mother, and I also want to compare it to Burning, which is a different Korean film on Netflix, because I feel like it has the same, not even the same, I don't even know why I want to compare it to Burning. I think it's because it has, a similar tone. I think that's what it is, a similar tone. But yeah, love this movie through and through. I really like the weird mixture of, I would call zonkiness in this movie.
He's always funny. Doesn't matter how heavy his material gets, they're always funny.
Yeah.
This is a really, really dark comedy.
Yeah.
Extremely dark. They were
I think that's probably why Mother reminded me of it too, because Mother is also that way. His movie, Bong Joon-Ho's Mother, is also very dark comedy.
Well, I kept wondering how many times are they going to figure out that a murder is happening right now and still not get it? Right? It's like 3 times that happened.
They're the worst detectives ever. They suck at their job.
Yeah.
They're trying so hard. Getting all the wrong people, all the brutality, and the way they just kept that dude locked up there and long past they knew he didn't do it.
Oh yeah,
literally torturing him.
And is this pertinent to our time or what, with just the excessive police brutality going on?
Yeah.
I was like, that's good. That would be if that came out right now, that'd be pretty.
It'd be pretty.
That would sting
poignant.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting
funny because.
Sorry, you go.
It's funny because his use of police brutality was like humorous, in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
it was a guy who was not very good at police work, so he just did brutality because that's all he knew, and it worked for him. But obviously, it wasn't the right way to go.
Yeah, and it still backfired on them in the end of the movie. Like, the public had lost all trust in the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that the marketing for this, at least on Amazon, under the title of the movie, it said Bong Joon-Ho's first masterpiece. And when I saw that, I kind of smirked. I'm like, okay. Because he's so well known now after Parasite
Right.
and winning the Best Picture.
Right.
That's the kind of thing you'd expect rebranding to do. To like go, okay, let's go back, let's find his old stuff, let's write his original masterpiece on it and put it up on Amazon
Right.
and get some views. Yeah. And I started watching it. I'm like, no, this is a masterpiece. This really is like a flawless movie.
It's quite it's quite something. The Kenny, you still haven't seen Burning, have you?
No.
The Burning is not a comedy whatsoever. It's very dramatic, but I want to compare it because the tone in Burning has this really slow. It's a slow burn. The whole movie is a slow burn, and I want to compare those two movies because just because the slowness of it. I want to talk more about that, but I keep remembering you haven't seen it, so maybe my point is moot.
Maybe you should suggest we watch Burning next time.
Maybe.
Burning is good.
I'll check it out. Sorry to poop on your party.
I love the score in this.
Yes.
Particularly the opening scene and the title reveal and just walking through the fields. It's just gorgeous.
So gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. And the music is just so good.
Yeah. The cinematography in here is also super gorgeous.
It looks the same way he shot Parasite.
Yeah.
I mean, the look's a little different, but his camera moves are all it's like the same approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
the same
reminded
thing
me-
with The Host. I don't know if it's just Host or The Host. But that's his monster movie.
Right.
Which is arguably his kind of like silliest movie. I mean, and not in terms of like a comedy, but just in it's not serious, right?
It's a monster.
It's a monster movie.
Yeah.
And
a
yet
good one.
that film still has just these breathtakingly dramatic shots throughout. Like,
Interesting.
you can see a craftsman taking his craft very seriously, even though he's telling a monster movie with a CGI monster that's not very convincing, that is sometimes a
Yeah.
person in a costume. And yet, it is an awesome movie.
So, I think the reason why I'm so heavy on tone right now is because I remember thinking this. I want to compare this also to Kubrick, the way Kubrick structures his movies. I know when we talked about Kubrick and did our little run on all of his filmography, Taylor, you were talking about his non-submersible units.
Yeah.
So they're called non-submersible.
It means you can't
Yeah,
hold them
exactly.
underwater.
Yeah.
With each of Joon-Ho's movies, it seems like he does this thing where he introduces a conflict, and then plays it out, and then goes to a new conflict, and then a new one, then a new one, and it keeps building that way, as opposed to like one conflict that has an arc that comes down. It's like several little conflicts that keep restarting, and it felt that way in Parasite also. His structure feels very Kubrick to me.
Yeah, I think his structure is definitely it's definitely pretty non-traditional, and it's definitely his kind of style. I feel like he's kind of crafted his own structure for how he approaches movies. I've noticed a lot of his movies tend to be about 2 hours, 20 minutes. It seems to be a running theme, and I think that's kind of interesting. because of the way his movies flow, and that often he does set up things and they always go very unexpected, and certain shifts in the story will happen at times that feel irregular to like basic movie structure compared to like a 3-act structure or something like that.
Right.
Like the whole switch for Parasite, for instance, like the whole switch to like the people in the basement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like kind of comes out of nowhere. Or in this movie, like what would be like an equivalent in Memories of Murder?
Probably. Well, I'd say there's two. There's one where the new detective comes in.
Yeah.
To set up the whole Rocky structure, and then, well, I don't know what the second one would be. But I know there's another turn in there somewhere.
I'll say one thing I've picked up with him is, and I think we talked about this at some length when we reviewed Parasite, but he has a way of really holding back, like an explosion of story till the very end. He did this in several of his movies where you really get in this zone where you feel like you're watching one type of movie, and then when you get into the final act, it's like, oh, this is a whole nother level of crazy. Like it just, it really just goes nuts, And with this one, it was that final, the bar fight to the chase scene to the guy getting run over by the train. It just all of a sudden became an intense action movie after being a relatively slow, like noir type film up till then.
Yeah, definitely. I felt that definitely also in Parasite and Mother. Also, he has that similar kind of vibe. Actually, that happens in all of them, I guess. Okja and Snowpiercer also have those explosive endings.
Yeah. There's a lot of movies that have like a, 2 to 3 crazy action sets that, scale up in intensity as they go. He has one always, and it's at the end.
Yeah. His denouement is a climax instead.
Yeah, and that's why I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood felt like a Bong Joon-Ho movie to me. Everyone said that it was such a non-typical Tarantino movie. To me, it reminded me of Bong Joon-Ho.
Interesting, yeah. That I could totally see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ending being wild.
Yeah. It was just like a beautifully crafted, slow burn story, character-driven story, and then an apeshit crazy ending.
That's awesome. That totally makes sense.
Except Memories of Murder does have a plot.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
As does Parasite.
Did it catch any of you by surprise that it's a non-conclusive movie?
I really liked that. It did catch me by surprise, but I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah, me too. I love I love the time jump ahead to see that he's like switched careers entirely.
yeah. Like the title of the movie is the ending, the very ending.
Exactly. That's like when we did the time jump. That's when I understood the title. Then I got it. I was like, oh, that's what's going on here. And then that ending is wild. I love that. Like
really good visual callbacks to the first scene. It was like the same shots, same exact shots across the wheat field.
Just different contexts. It's so good, and it has the same question too, right? He says he asked the exact same thing.
He's like, "What do you look like?" She was like, "Ordinary."
It's so good.
That is really good. That's insane. I think Bong Joon-Ho is really good at using the frame, like using mise en scene.
Yeah.
He fills his frames with a lot of story relevant content. Which almost sounds like that should be like just obvious to all movies.
Right? It should
but
be.
It's actually not.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah,
that's Bong
really
Joon-Ho is hella good at it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that we had talked about when we were talking about short films and people who are like beginning to make films, it's like you need to feel your fame, purposefully, and that's what we're talking about with the Coens. How every time the Coens shot anything, it was all purposeful. Every single thing in the frame is there for a reason, and it's funny because I think of Kubrick again with the way he fills his scenes with what looks like it just looks like background stuff is just there, but then you think, oh man, like in Barry Lyndon, like, oh man, this is actually supposed to be like in the 1800s. Why is those extras there? They can't just be random people. Everyone had to be placed. Same with the what was the background we were talking about in oh man, I'm forgetting the movie Full Metal Jacket, when they have that conversation scene on the top of the barrier, and we see the whole training going on behind them just nonstop.
Yeah.
And we're just like, that kind of stuff is great, and that kind of stuff is always in Bong Joon-Ho's movies. Same with it reminds me of the scene where the reporters kept falling down the grassy
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that scene was massive too.
yeah.
Jeez, had been like over 100 extras there.
Yeah.
And when they go all slow-mo during that,
I loved that.
that was so good. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, man.
It's like
What was-
a ballet.
I
almost.
felt really bad
Ballet's
for
good.
them. I'm just like, man, they're trying so hard and they're just utterly incompetent in front of all these people. It's interesting because incompetence is usually used in movies to sort of take you detach you from characters, right? So when the character is incompetent, you don't become more connected to them. You laugh at them; they're the bad guy or the distraction, but their incompetence made them more endearing to me.
It did. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about is an American culture thing, because I've noticed in British comedies that they talk about how laughing at the character is relating with them, right?
Yeah.
That you're going, wow, what an idiot, like me, we're both idiots.
Well, and Parasite does the exact same thing.
It does, yeah.
I mean, these are people in Parasite are doing some despicable level stuff, but you at some level you completely identify with them.
Yeah, I love that. To get a little bit off topic, the same thing happens with characters that I like. The best kind of characters, I believe, always have flaws, right? That's always the best kind of characters, is because you can see them grow or you can see them change. The story's actually about something. And one movie that I know Kenny saw, I'm not sure if Taylor saw it yet, was Wonder Woman 84. Or basically any superhero movie. They don't take their characters seriously in the same manner. Like, they're perfect people almost all the time. And so sometimes that works for someone like Superman.
Or sometimes they inject like superficial flaws,
Like
Right.
Kryptonite.
that are
Right.
that are overcome by the end of the movie
Yeah. And there's a Netflix
and have
show
no
right now
consequence
that,
to the next movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's a Netflix show right now that I'm into called The Queen's Gambit that really turns up the flaws on the character, which is awesome. It's just, you don't see that too often, and it makes me feel really bad. And so when I see something like this, like Memories of Murder, where they like they turn up the flaws to max. It's like the character is like nothing but flaws.
Well, it's funny. I used to have
really
a pretty
nice.
limited exposure to international cinema, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty much limited to like Studio Ghibli, and so from my American point of view of cinema, I would basically say, man, the Japanese, it's so cool that they do these three-dimensional characters, and that the so-called bad guys have all these great intentions and are actually doing important things from and you get to see that point of view, and it just makes it so, and the good guys, addicted to something and has all these just broke up with his wife and all these things. Like, I'm like, that's so cool that the Japanese do that. And now that I found have a more well-rounded view of cinema, I've found that that's just what's missing in America, not what Japan does right.
Right.
Everyone
Right.
else does it right. It's just for some reason, American filmmakers like these one-dimensional stories, these one-dimensional characters, the good guys that are all good and the bad guys that are all bad. I don't know why we
Yeah.
got so hooked on that, but
yeah, like they're super sensational that way. That's
yeah.
really
You watch
strange.
Korean films, you watch French films, you watch British comedies, even,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
they're willing to let the good guys be assholes,
yeah.
and vice
Dude,
versa.
what's great about like again getting off, a little bit off topic, but the idea of flawed characters, the British Office, what do you call it, series?
Yeah.
David Brent has like again nothing but flaws. Like it's the kind of humor you're just like, oh man, like what, like how shitty of a person, right? But it's so great to see so many flaws in a character, because when they try to make something right later on, then you relate with them even more, as opposed to this person who just does everything right from the beginning, like freaking Jurassic Park, or even most Spielberg movies. They have good characters and they're well rounded and all that, but the flaws in them are pretty minuscule. They're pretty tiny flaws, because it's really not really concerned about them growing. It's more
Yeah.
about what they're dealing with.
Yeah. In
I think
Jurassic Park, Grant is afraid of having children.
Right.
That's his
Right.
flaw.
That's his flaw.
I think in American cinema, the hero flaw tends to be more explored through anti-heroes, rather than having a hero that happens to have flaws.
Interesting.
Like
I wonder-
Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why.
America
that's
is
why, like-
obsessed with anti-heroes.
I was gonna say, yeah, America's obsessed with the anti-hero, because that's interesting, dude. Because one of the worst cases of anti-hero I've seen in American filmmaking is Hitchcock, where you have like a character who is supposed to be flawed, but all his flaws are completely superficial, and they
Hitchcock?
just don't matter. Hitchcock, yeah. Do you remember
Like
Hitchcock?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Hancock.
Hancock? Sorry, not Hitchcock.
I was gonna
I was
say,
trying
I was
to
like, what?
decide
Hitch?
which Hitchcock movie you're talking about.
I
that's
was
what
thinking
I
of
was
Hitch
thinking
with
of.
Will Smith.
Hancock with
Yeah.
Will
Oh,
Smith.
okay, that's funny.
Yeah. That's where they tried to force it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to force an anti-hero
Yeah, that
idea
was weak.
onto a traditional hero-style movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they
Like
didn't know what.
Deadpool's for.
No. And when I say
yeah.
American cinema, I'm speaking in big generalities. There's obviously tons of
Talking about
really,
like mainstream.
really good
Sure.
stuff out there from American
Sure.
filmmakers.
I mean, like when the one that we kind of recently watched, I guess it wasn't that recent, was the Florida Project. How that was
Yeah.
also just
Hell
absolutely filled with almost no redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
but
that
it
was all-
It was amazing.
all flawed characters, top to bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah. Gosh, that movie's good.
that is a good movie.
So has Bong Joon-Ho had a miss?
If he has, I haven't seen him.
Mother,
Because the only one I haven't seen Mother.
and I hear that's not a miss according to D.
No, it's
Yeah,
not a miss.
so-
No.
He might be the most unmarred filmmaker active today, unless you count Ari, who only has 2 features under the belt.
Maybe. I mean, Denis even, I don't think has many.
I think Denis, yeah, he's got no bad movies. I haven't seen all of them though. I haven't seen Incendies.
That's good. That's a good one. Insidious is really good. What was I gonna say? The weakest movie that I've seen from Bong Joon-ho is probably, like, and I hate to call it weak, but Okja is probably.
That's what I was gonna say too.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
Okja and Snowpiercer have a lot in common, and I think it's because he crossed that line and said, "I'm not going to make a Korean movie."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Those are 2 movies that are. I mean, he basically
They're
is making a
American films.
mainstream American movie.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah. They both
they're
feel
both
very.
They're
really
both in
really
English.
good and really really creative, but
Yeah.
they are missing, I think, some of the things that make him special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like yeah, they're not bad movies at all, but it's like he's like almost compromising a little bit.
That's what it feels like.
See,
yeah.
Host
Yeah.
is in concept. Host is kind of cheesy, but I'd
Yeah.
still rank it as a better, stronger movie than Okja or Snowpiercer.
I would agree.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I still need to watch Host.
you do.
It's good.
You really do.
Stick to Korea.
Yeah, man. Make what you know. You know.
Make what you know.
Yeah.
And then he won. He won with his South Korean movie. He won everything.
Yeah.
During
Man, I wonder-
during my small personal surgical procedure, the whole time I spoke to the doctor about Bong Joon-Ho.
Really?
Because he was asking about the talkies, and I told him that we were covering this movie this week, and he's like, "Oh, is that the Parasite guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What else has he made?" And we just talked about all of his movies, and he's like, "Wow, I'm going to watch some of these."
That's awesome.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, he subscribed to the podcast. So hey, Dr. Patel.
Hello. Hi, Doc.
Hi, Doc.
Hey, Doc. I'm healing fine.
Hope the personal surgery went
Swelling's almost gone. What movie do you want to see? No, that's too hard to say because Bong Joon-Ho, we've already decided we want him to make what he wants to make, right?
Yeah.
What movie would you least want to see Bong Joon-Ho agree
A
to make?
Marvel movie.
Nah, I'd be down for that. I'd be
Nope.
super down for that.
I'd be out.
I mean, because with Snowpiercer, he did adapt a graphic novel.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
Adaptation.
closest. That's
Very
the most
damn
mainstream
well,
thing he's
can I
done,
say,
right?
I would say. I would not want to see him make a documentary.
Okay.
I'll take a doc over a Marvel movie.
Nope.
honestly.
I'd want to see
Yeah.
his take on a Marvel movie.
No, but D, what? It's not like a fresh take. It's like he's asked to make the second Captain Marvel movie.
Then no.
Like he has to make a
And-
sequel.
And you know it's Marvel, so you know he's only gonna put his little flares in there. They're like, your quota of directorial flares is met. You've put 3 little things in here already.
He gets to direct a Mando episode.
All right, that's strange. That seems like overkill. He's too good for that.
So he was involved creatively somehow with that Snowpiercer TV show.
Oh, I heard about that. I never looked into it though.
Yeah, I wasn't able to because it's on one of the dumb streaming services.
Is that out?
Yeah, on one of the
Really?
dumb streaming services.
Oh.
It's not on one of the real ones.
Quibi?
No, not
It's
that
a phone
dumb.
phone optimized.
Quibi's gone, by the way.
Yeah.
Quibi failed. But you know the networks have their streaming services. I just mean it's not on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or Disney Plus.
It's on
or
Hulu.
HBO Max. Huh?
Looks like it's on
Snowpiercer, it was
Hulu.
on like CBS.
The show or the movie?
The show says
The
it's
show.
on Hulu.
With a Starz subscription.
Oh, premium. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
See, I knew it.
Man, watching TV is too complicated these days.
Yeah, remember when like streaming just started happening and everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be so much simpler now. We don't have to have cable and all this." And now
Hey,
it's like back to where it
I'm
was.
I'm
so
subscribed
down.
to 12 things.
I'm so down for that. I like the idea of so many streaming services that I can pick and choose rather than having to pay for shit that I don't want.
Yeah,
I agree.
but I still end up paying for tons of shit I don't want.
If you're a family person,
Why do
yeah,
you do
I guess.
that?
Yeah.
Because I subscribe to these things and I forget that they're there, you know. And I'm like, wait, I'm still paying for Quibi? They went out
Big
of business.
mistake.
I'm still paying for MoviePass, man.
Oh shit! I still got my card.
That's
I
irrelevant
wish
now.
MoviePass was back. I liked that.
Well, if they
When it was
if they
good.
hadn't gone out of business then, they definitely would have in 2020.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
I've got a ridiculous question to ask.
I doubt it.
Same.
If you got a pizza from Pizza Hut, what kind of movie would it be?
What?
That was Kenny with the mock spit take.
I had a mouthful of nothing, but
What kind
I
of
spit it out.
what kind of pizza would Memories of Murder be?
So you're saying if we were to like compare Memories of Murder, the movie, to pizza, the food,
Yeah,
what kind of pizza it would be?
that's a ridiculous question for you.
I've actually done this once a week for about 2 years.
Is that right? That's weird
Yeah.
because I have too.
I'm pretty
Same.
good at it.
I already know my answer.
All right, you go
Dude,
first.
what is
then.
it?
It's a gourmet pizza oven. You know, brick oven, pepperoni pizza with oregano and red chili flakes and some Parmesan on there as well. Don't forget the oregano. Baked, cooked, boiled.
Cooked it?
Boiled.
It's boiled pizza.
That's not good.
That sounds gross.
That's not good.
That sounds absolutely disgusting.
Oh, sorry, it's not boiled. I'll save that one for a bad movie.
Thank you.
For the next one we do.
Yeah. It's just
All right.
delicious. I want to eat that right now, actually.
I'm only hungry.
Yeah.
And a little horny, too.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie.
Very nice.
It is the boiling.
This is I've described this pizza before. It's a what do you call it? Deep dish buffalo chicken pizza with blue cheese on it.
Ooh.
The blue cheese
Hey.
on the pizza gives like this
Hey.
this
Yes.
zesty pop to it that you're just like, I wasn't expecting that, but it's good. It goes good together.
That's nice. That's
Love
good.
it.
That's good and nice.
Yeah.
Love it. And I would just go with a, hole in the wall mom and pop brick oven pizza. In fact, not pop, but Poppy. You know, his name's like Poppy Bello. You know, and he's got a mustache, and he never speaks in English at all.
He speaks
And,
Korean.
Oh no, but see, that's
Korean,
the twist.
Italian.
You ready? So he makes you your pizza just as you want. He brings it out, and there's a topping on it, and you're just like, I don't know what that is. And he's like, just trust me, try it, and you eat it, and it's just delicious. It's so good, and then you find out it's okja meat.
Ooh, that's
okay.
well, it's delicious,
It's
yeah,
good
it's delicious.
though. Yeah.
but unethical.
But at least it comes without killing the animal, right? So
It was genetically created. They have no souls.
Oh,
They're
well,
made
that's
by
fine.
science. It's ethical.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
all right.
Vegans could eat the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. I'm just saying that right now, just putting that out there. Vegans could eat the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park.
Because they
You
were
heard it here first.
Because they were CG. Or
No, because they were made by man. They're products. They're not meat.
They're-
They're not
oh.
animals.
not
They
of
have no
nature,
souls. Yeah.
but
Nature
of nature.
bestows the soul. Let's end this. Hey, you've been listening to the Talkies from Carmen Line Studio. We put out new episodes every Friday, correct?
We missed a couple, but we're on it now.
Okay.
Yeah, we
put out
missed
new
a few.
episodes every Friday on, all those places that podcasts are, plus YouTube. So find us there. Next week, we are going to be talking about, and we can't wait to get into it. So we'll see you then, everyone.
Bye.
Hasta la vista.